Hello and welcome to this 60-minute yoga flow accompanied by the beautiful sounds of Etherwood. My name is Jocie and I'll be guiding you through this practice, which is suitable for all levels. So take as much time as you need to get ready and let's get started. So when you're ready, we're going to begin just seated. So finding a comfy seat, cross-legged or kneeling. And starting to allow your spine to find its balance. Sometimes it can be nice to rock forwards, rock back a little bit. And just see if you can find your plumb line. And then maybe closing down your eyes and starting to arrive to your breath. Placing the hands anywhere that feels natural. Starting to smooth out your inhales to exhales. And starting to notice where the breath is being received in your body. Can we feel it landing in the chest or the collarbone area? Maybe you can feel it dropping down into your tummy, feeling your belly expand as you breathe in. And every time you exhale, have this sense of returning to center. Grounding through your base, softening into your outer edges. And on your next breath in, floating the arms out to the side and up over the head, looking up to your palms, bring them together. And as you exhale, glide them down past the face to rest in the heart center. Another smooth breath in, arms out and up. Exhaling, feel that downward flow of energy as you bring the hands down. One more inhale, gliding the arms up over the head. And exhaling, drawing them down past the face to rest in the heart center. Pausing to feel grounded through the base. And then resting the hands onto the knees and starting to circle the upper body. So as you round through your back, you rock back on your seat, and as you come forwards, begin to open the chest. So you can make this movement as expressive or as subtle as you like, but have this sense of really awakening the whole matrix of your spine and feeling into the side ribs, back ribs, the heart center. Bending the elbows as you come forwards and letting the chin soften towards the chest as you come back. Whenever it feels right to do so, just changing up the direction and circling the other way. Keeping the breath really slow and conscious. And then starting to find your way back into center, back into that neutral spine. Take a breath in. And let that breath release through the mouth this time. And then bringing your hands out to the side. And then behind you, interlacing your fingers if that's comfortable. You can always just grab a hold of the forearms behind your back as well. If you're interlacing, begin to draw the knuckles back and feel the shoulder blades squeeze together. Feel the front of the heart open. And then starting to release that, bring the arms in front of you and swoop the right arm underneath the left. Find that eagle cross, Garudasana arms. And again, if that's not quite a comfortable place for you, you can just give yourself a little hug. As long as we're feeling the back of the body open now, so the back of the heart expanding as you breathe in. And exhale, feel a softening. Inhaling, breathing into the back body. And exhaling, a softening. Inhaling to open up wide, bring the arms into a cactus. And then exhaling, swim the arms behind you once again. Take an interlace with the fingers with a different index finger and thumb on top if you're doing the interlace. And then start to draw the knuckles back once again. Lifting up through the chest, opening and broadening the collarbones. And then releasing, sweeping the arms forward, left arm under right this time. If you're going for the eagle cross, find the bind of the hands, back of hand to back of hand or palm to palm. Take a smooth breath in. And exhale, a little softening. Elbows can dip down slightly. Inhale to lift, expand. Exhale to melt. Inhale to open wide, bring the arms into that cactus. And as you exhale, bring the hands down towards the ground. Now if you're cross-legged here, you might choose to change up the cross of the legs. And then take your right hand down to the right side. And as you breathe in, lift the left arm up, and like you're yawning it over the head, reach into a side bend, softening the bottom elbow. Take a little pulse into that side bend, opening through the left side body. And then pressing the ground away lightly through the bottom hand, reach the arms out to the side and just come straight to the other side, circling. And then right arm reaching across to left. Keeping your bottom shoulder nice and relaxed away from the neck and just pulsing here, opening through the right side seam. Pressing ground away through bottom hand, lifting both arms up now over the head. And as you breathe out, tipping forwards. We're going to come into a little fold, let the hands just come to the floor. And you might just tip forwards a touch, maybe it's a lot more depending on what kind of space you feel like you have. So creeping the hands forwards if you have the space, letting your head relax. And maybe feeling into a little stretch into your lower spine as you fold. Feeling the breath flood into the back ribs. And letting your head be nice and relaxed before patting your hands back towards your body. Beautiful. Okay, coming onto all fours now. So just spinning around to land on hands and knees. And taking a moment to get nice and stable in your base here. So adjusting the hands and the knees to feel like they're really comfortably supporting your weight. Spreading your energy and effort evenly through the palms. And then from there, taking your weight into your left hand, we're going to reach the right arm up, opening and turning the ribs to the right. And then take the right hand down, transfer the weight into the right side, lift the left arm up. And the first one or two can feel a little bit sticky, so just keep padding left to right side and opening up to ceiling and seeing how a little bit more space can be felt every time you twist. And the next time that you reach the right arm up, inhaling, on your exhale, we're going to dive that right arm under and come to thread the needle. Come all the way down onto your right temple. And you can keep your left hand where it is, supporting you. Or perhaps you take the left palm on top of the right and then draw the fingertips away from you for a slightly deeper twist into your upper back. Keep dropping down through the weight of the head. And then as you're ready, take the left hand back beside the face if it was on top of the right and unthread the right arm. Start to reach it all the way back up towards the ceiling and then place it back down towards the ground. Leaning into the right hand, left arm lifts up on your inhale. And on your exhale, again, that diving under, threading through the right arm, coming down onto the left temple. Right hand can stay for support by the face, or perhaps it comes on top of the left. And maybe the fingertips glide away a little bit to deepen that stretch, that twist into the upper spine. Come back to your breath. And then finding your way out. Right hand back beside face if it was somewhere else. Press the ground away. Unravel the left arm all the way up to the ceiling before placing it slowly back down under the shoulder. Take a pause to feel into the ground. Maybe let an exhale drop out of the mouth. And then start to move through some nice gentle cat-cow. So as you inhale, the belly softens, the tailbone and the heart lift up. And as you exhale, pressing the ground away through the hands, rounding up through your spine. Take a little glance through the thighs. And then use your inhale to find that extension through the spine. And exhale, leaning the hands down, rounding up, hugging your front body towards your back body. Couple more. And you can stay with this quite linear up-down movement, but if you feel drawn to take it a little bit more three-dimensionally, you can start to move into a barrel roll through the hips, circling. Maybe letting the elbows bend and straighten as you move. There's really no right or wrong way to do this, but have a sense the body is guiding you. And you're just feeling into little pockets of tension in the spine, in the ribs. Letting your neck release by looking down. And And just feeling into the corners of this for 1 or 2 more breaths. And then finding your way back into center. Okay, from here, sending the right leg back behind us. So we're going to start with the toe tucked under and just actively press back through the heel to get a nice stretch into the calf. And then start to roll onto the top of the foot and get a nice stretch into the fronts of the toes. And you can roll your foot left to right here and just feel every toe get a nice stretch in the front before re-tucking the toes, pressing the heel back. So from here, spinning that right heel down, and as you do, turn on your left knee so the shin bone comes out to the left side. Take the weight gently into your left hand and bring your right arm up. So definitely fine to stay here. If you feel like you want a bit more, you can start to float the right leg away from the floor and really press the heel away, flexing the foot strongly. Feel your center light up. And again, if you want something a little bit extra here, you might bend that right knee and start to reach back for the foot. Lean the foot into the hand, open the chest, and find a shoulder opener here. Slow, steady breaths. And then releasing. Reach the right arm back up to ceiling, kick the heel away before placing hand and foot back down. Rolling back into your tabletop, taking a pause, taking a breath. And then as you're ready, coming to the left side. So left toe reaches back, leg extends, toes tucked under. Get that stretch into the back line of the leg. And then roll onto the top of the foot. Move the foot side to side. And stretching into the fronts of the toes. And then re-tuck, press the heel back. So when you're ready, the left heel is going to spin down to the right side, and then the right shin bone comes out for support. Weight into the right hand, left arm reaches up. Staying here, or maybe floating the left foot away from the ground, pressing the heel away. Breathing into your center. And then for that extra layer, bending the knee, catching the top of the foot. Pressing foot into hand gently as the heart spins open. And you can look down at the floor for balance. Or you might choose to send your gaze up beyond that left shoulder. And then releasing, coming out as we came in. So coming back to your baby half moon shape. And then foot down, hand down, rolling back into tabletop, breathing in here. And as you exhale, hips glide back to heels. Take a little pause in Balasana in child's pose. So your head can come all the way down to the floor. But you can also modify your child's pose by just having your hips a little higher. Maybe resting on your forearms, just depending on how much space you feel like you have in your hips. And just begin to collect your breath. Before rolling back onto your knees for your tabletop. Okay. From there, once again, the right leg comes back behind us. This time the foot lifts off the ground, and keeping the pelvis as level as you can, take a breath in here. And as you breathe out, bring the right knee towards the right upper arm or elbow. Give a little tap if you can. And then inhale, reach the leg back. Exhale, bring the knee out to the right. Inhale, reach the leg back. And exhale, bring the knee towards the elbow and then step the foot outside the right hand. Walking your hands forwards a little bit and letting your hips sink down into this lizard lunge. So having this sense of your pelvis just sort of giving in to gravity without pushing or forcing your hips anywhere. Breathe slow breaths. And then beginning to follow a nice rhythmic gliding action with the breath. So your inhale lifts your chest a little bit. And your exhale glides the hips back as you walk the hands back. See if you can just lift the front toes. Maybe come towards a straightening of that front leg. Doesn't need to be fully straight. And then as you breathe in, seal the foot back down, lift the chest, sink the hips. Exhale, gliding back, lifting the toes. Couple more. Riding your breath, just following your own rhythm. Exhaling to come back. And the next time that you inhale to come forwards, place your left hand off to the edge of the mat, tuck your back toe under, and as you breathe in, float the right arm forwards, lift the back knee. And as you breathe out, circle the arm back as the knee comes back to the floor. 2 more like that. Inhale, lift off, reach up. Exhale, circle it back, knee comes down. So super slow arm circles, one more, inhale. Exhale, knee comes back down, hand comes back down inside the foot. And then from there, lifting your back knee once again and stepping up to the front of the mat, breathe in. And as you exhale, we're folding into Uttanasana. So bending your knees quite generously, relaxing your head fully. And feeling the spine cascading down from the hips, letting the weight of your head rest downwards into that pull of gravity. And then you can take hold of the elbows here for ragdoll if you like. And take a little sway. Keep the head super relaxed, the back of the neck is long. And then change the cross of the elbows, continue rocking, swaying the upper body gently. And as you release the elbows, we're going to inhale to a halfway lift, bringing the arms out to the side. So as you breathe in, long spine, arms out to the side, straight legs. As we exhale, folding. 2 more in that way. Inhale, reach out. Exhale, bend the knees, fold. Inhale, reach out with the arms, long spine. And exhale, bend the knees, folding. Let the weight rest into your heels and start to roll up your spine super slow. As you arrive upright, the head is the last thing to lift as it rolls on top of the neck. And just feel the weight now pour back down into the bones of your feet. Finding Tadasana. Bring the hands together in front of the hearts. Slow, steady breaths. Feeling grounded through your base. Whole body is alive with a play of energy. And just tune into that dance of sensation in the body, the heart beating beneath the chest. And then when you're ready, take your inhale to lift the arms up over the head. And as you exhale, folding all the way down to the floor. Inhaling to lift up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. And then bending your knees, hands down, take your right foot and step it back. Right knee to the ground. Inhaling, lift the arms. Bring the palms together over the head. And then you can interlace your fingers here and find Kali Mudra, index fingers point up. Lifting up through fingertips. And then taking a little side bend to your left, just gently easing to the left side. And then bringing the hands back over the head and releasing them down to the ground. Lifting the back knee, send your left leg back beside your right, take a breath. Exhale, knees come down, untuck the toes, and then lie all the way down to the ground, super slow. Inhale to lift up into Bhujangasana, Cobra. And as you exhale, lift the hips, glide them back towards Balasana, Child's Pose. Head can come all the way down to the ground, or perhaps you pop a cushion under your head or make a pillow with your hands. A couple of moments to reset. And then as you're ready, lifting the head away from the floor, walking the hands forwards, and rocking back up onto the knees. Okay, finding a stable tabletop. And then sending your left leg back. Lift the toes away from the ground, trying to keep the pelvis as level as possible, so engaging from your center. Take a breath in. As you exhale, bring the left knee towards the left upper arm or elbow, and then inhale, send it back. Exhale, glide it to the elbow. Inhale, reach it back. Exhale, bring it over, and then step it outside the hand, walking the hands forwards, and letting the hips sink down. And if you have a couple of yoga bricks at home or even a stack of books, you could use these under your hands for a little bit more support. And just find a rock perhaps as you feel the hips begin to open up. Take a breath in and exhale, walking the hips back and the hands back, lifting the front toes. Rocking forwards on the inhale and gliding back on the exhale. Couple more. And the next time that you come forwards, letting your right hand come to the edge of the mat, tuck your back toe under, the left arm's going to swoop forwards, and as it comes up and round, lift the back knee, and as you breathe out, let the knees soften down, and bring the arm all the way back to the front. Inhale to lift, exhale, circling back. One more inhale, and exhale. Left hand comes back down to the floor. We're stepping forwards on the breath in. Take a little rock back, and then as you breathe out, folding once again, Uttanasana, relax the head. Allowing the weight to rest into the heels and rolling slowly up the spine. Heavy arms, heavy head. Allowing the head to just roll on top of the neck as you arrive. Feel the weight come back down into the bones of your feet. And you can rest the hands somewhere on the body here. I like hand to heart, hand to belly. If you could place the hands over the heart. And again, just coming back to your breath, feeling and listening to the moment. When you're ready, circling arms up overhead on the inhale breath. Exhaling, folding over legs. Inhaling to lift up halfway. And exhaling, knees bend, left foot steps back. Left knee to the ground. Lifting the arms as you breathe in. Palms touch. Interlace the fingers, but keep the index fingers free and lift them up towards the ceiling. Maybe a little back bending action here. And then a really gentle lean to the right, find a side bend. And then bring the arms back over the head, release the interlace, hands to the floor. Back knee lifts, right foot back, high plank, take a breath. Exhale, knees down, untuck toes, lie to the ground if you can with some resistance, so nice and slow. And then inhale to lift up into cobra. Shoulders relaxed. Exhale, glide back, balasana. So again, just a few moments to collect your energy. And really allow the weight of the body to just surrender itself down into the floor. From there, head lifts away from ground, hips lift just enough so you can tuck your toes under. And give the feet a little stretch here as you send the weight back towards the heels. And we're going to keep the weight back and rise up into a downward facing dog. So do your best to not rock forwards, but just use the strength of your legs to float the knees, float the hips, and then relax the head. So you can move a little bit freely here, pedaling your feet perhaps, one heel slowly reaching to the floor and then the other. Keep finding a nice downwardness through your hands and an upward lift through your tailbone. Maybe you give your head a little nod. Keeping your breath nice and slow. And then as you're ready, the right leg will float up on the inhale. Bending the knee, bring the knee underneath you, step up near the right thumb. And before you come up, just set your foundations. There's no hurry. And when you're ready to rise up into high lunge, lift the arms. Now follow that downwardness of your exhale as you lower the back knee towards the floor, bring the hands down past the face. And then as you inhale, sweep the arms up. And again on the exhale, bend the back knee. Now the lower you come to the floor, the more challenging. So you don't need to come super low, but you can if you want. One more inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Now from here, tipping your weight forwards, transfer weight into front foot. Find Virabhajasana 3, Warrior 3. Arms out to the side. And just settling your gaze on a still point in front of you so you can keep your balance a little bit more. And then from your Warrior 3, bring that knee in. If you can without resetting, great. Otherwise, tap the toe down first. We're going to come to a figure 4 shape. The ankle in the middle of the right thigh, hands to prayer. Now, if figure 4 is a little bit challenging for you for any reason, you can take a tree pose instead. That's great. Very similar benefits. If you're here in figure 4 and you want a little bit more, reach your hands forwards, take a breath. And as you exhale, bending your standing leg knee and just sit down into like an imaginary chair behind you. Feel your sitting bones widen and perhaps feel a deeper stretch there into the hip, into the glute. And then coming up as you breathe in, release the ankle from thigh and just step it out. Just checking in with your feet, making sure they're pointing forwards. And find Tadasana now. Again, hands can be anywhere that feels most natural, beside the body or on the body. You might choose to close the eyes. And just feel what you feel. Completely present to this moment. Present to sensation. Allowing everything to flow freely in the field of your awareness. And a slow breath in now to open the eyes and take the arms up over the head. And as you exhale, swan diving all the way down. Inhaling Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Bending knees, hands to the ground, right foot steps back. Right heel comes down, you're coming to a warrior 2 shape, so let the right arm sweep forwards and then circle it back as the left arm comes in front. And you can take a little moment to reorganize your feet to feel stable. Grounding through your base and reaching out through the lines of the body, up through the crown of the head, out through the fingertips, down through the feet. Turn your palms up now and then ride your inhale as you lift the arms over the head, touch the palms, straighten the front knee. And as you exhale, turn the palms down, re-bend that front knee. 2 more like that, inhale. Exhale, sinking into the knee. Turn the palms up, inhale. Exhale, re-bending the knee. Now let the elbow at the front come onto the thigh and reach the right arm over the head, or maybe just up to the ceiling if that's more comfortable for your shoulder. Parshvakonasana. So depending on what you feel is available to you, you might keep it here, you might take that top arm behind you and catch top of left thigh for a half bind. Maybe even come down inside the foot with that left hand. Or for some of you, a full bind might be where you want to take it. Turning your chest. Wherever you are, taking one more slow breath before taking your top arm all the way down to the ground. Now take that hand to the edge of your mat, come back onto the ball of your back foot. Now we're going to work this left foot down the mat until it's about halfway with the toe turning out to the side. Come onto the outer edge of your back foot and then do your best to lift your hips. Left arm lifts up. This might be plenty for you. It's pretty challenging. If you want a little bit more, you might take it to the full Vashisthasana side plank. Left hand comes back down, finding your way back to a high plank. Take a breath in. 2 options here. As you exhale, you could take a Chaturanga, or you could just place your knees down and come back to a child's pose. From Chaturanga, it's up dog, and we all meet back in Balasana. Pausing to reset, recalibrate, and just feeling the back of the pelvis broaden here. Finding some slow, big breaths. And in your own time, lifting the head and just making your way back to a downward facing dog. So again, we're going to try and tuck the toes, keep the weight back, and using our legs rather than using our shoulders to lift up into down dog. Knees lift, hips float, head relaxes. Establish your shape here. Long spine. You don't need to straighten your legs. In fact, it's quite useful to keep a little bend in the knees. And then send your left leg up and back, slow and steady. Bend the knee, bring the knee underneath you, step up near the left thumb. Steady your foundations, and then rise up with your breath. High lunge. As you exhale, bring the hands down past the face, lower the back knee towards the floor. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. One more, inhale. Exhale. Weight comes into front foot, like you're lifting off in slow motion. Toes of back foot lift, warrior three. Arms out to the side, pelvis as level as you can. And then from there, bringing the knee in and guiding the ankle into the middle of the left thigh. You can give it a helping hand with your hand. Bring the hands to prayer. So either this figure four shape or a tree pose. And that would be inner foot into inner shin or inner thigh. If you're in your figure four and you want a little bit more, bring the hands forwards, take a breath, and as you breathe out, sit down a little bit. Sitting bones widen, breath flowing, and then lifting off, release the ankle, place the foot back down, and just step it out. Coming back to Tadasana, hand to heart, hand to belly, eyes soften or close. Breathe your whole body, and just soften where you can here. Maybe the face, the space between the eyebrows, the jaw. Feeling your joints fluid and buoyant, nothing is locked or rigid. And sensing the ground beneath your feet. When you're ready, circling arms up overhead, inhaling. Exhaling, swan diving down. Inhaling, lifting up halfway. And exhaling, knees bend, left foot back. Left heel comes down, and then rising up, Virabhadrasana 2, warrior 2. And again, take a moment just to establish the shape, rearranging the knees and the feet as you need to, making sure the front knee is sort of in the same trajectory as the foot. Palms turn open to ceiling. As you inhale, lifting up over the head, straight in front knee. Exhaling, re-bending knee. Arms to a T. 2 more. Ride the upwardness of the inhale and the downward quality of the exhale. Last time. And then let the elbow rest on the thigh. Left arm comes up beside the ear. And then taking this to wherever you feel like you want to take it. Here is great. Here is great. Or maybe the half bind. Perhaps the fingertips creep towards the floor on the inner foot. Or even the full bind, if that's where you want to take your practice. But keep the breath spacious if you can. Keep the chest spinning open. And then releasing the left hand back down to the floor. Come to the edge of the mat. Come onto the ball of your back foot. And then start to toe heel the right foot down the mat, down the mat, down the mat. And then roll onto the outer edge of your back foot. Supported side plank. Lifting the hips. Maybe the full expression if you want to take it there. One more breath. And then right hand down, back to your high plank. Take a breath in, optional vinyasa, or just knees down, hips back, child's pose. Letting your belly soften between your thighs. And feeling a panoramic sense of your body. Can you sense the breath flooding into every cell? Starting to lift away from the floor, walking the hands forwards, lifting the hips, tucking the toes, and then rising back up, downward facing dog. I'm going to walk the hands back to the feet now, So coming towards the back of your mat, let the heels ground, and then bring the hands behind you before floating them down to the floor, grazing the floor with your fingertips, and then lifting them forwards for a chair pose. So sitting down a bit into a seat, knees bent, and then take a breath in here. As you exhale, bring the right arm back behind you, and then ride your inhale to sweep it forwards. Exhale, left arm sweeps back. Inhale, bring it forwards, keeping the knees bent, building some heat in your thighs. Continue just cycling left to right side, inhaling to come forwards with the arm, exhaling to come back. One more each side. And then from there, the next exhale brings both hands back behind you, fold over your legs, reach the fingertips towards the ceiling, and then bring the hands down to the ground. And lift the heels here, and bending your knees, coming into a little squat. So you can definitely just keep it here in this sort of more easeful frog squat, even with the hands on the ground. If you feel like you want to work the feet a little wider, you can come into a slightly deeper squat, maybe even a malasana squat with the heels down if that feels appropriate for you. Any variation of that is great. And if you feel stable, you might bring the hands away from the floor. You may bring them into heart center. And just take a pause here, allowing the hips to open up. Finding a slow, steady breath. So I'm going to give you a couple of options now. So for those of you that are quite familiar with Bakasana, crow pose, you may have a little play on your hands now. If you're not so familiar, more beginner level, then great, you can just watch, stay in your squat. Okay, if you're coming up with me, the hands are going to come shoulder width, the knees are going to come into the armpit hollows, keeping your gaze forwards. Slowly transfer the weight into your hands. One toe lifts, maybe other toe lifts. Core switches on, breathing here, before settling your feet back down and finding your way back to your squat. So if you went there with me, you might want to release the wrists a little bit. So take the back of the hands together and just press them until you get that nice release into the wrist. Give them a roll. Good. And then place the hands down. Let's all soften the knees down. Walk the hands forwards. And then sit the hips back. Sitting into your kneel. And you can sort of snuggle the bottom between the heels here. And start to find a long spine. Relax your shoulders. And then starting to take your right arm out to the right side, we're going to bring the right hand behind the back. So the back of the hand rests somewhere between the shoulder blades. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, allow the left ear to just soften towards the left shoulder. So getting a nice stretch into the right side of the neck. You can nod your chin a little bit up and down here. And just being mindful that it can feel quite strong. And being gentle with the neck is always preferable. Bring the head back to neutral. And then place your left hand on your heart center. So like we're sort of holding the heart front to back here. And as you breathe, can you feel the breath expanding, not just the front of the chest, but also the back ribs? Taking a couple of slow, steady, big breaths in and softening breaths out. And then we're going to release the hands slowly, back hand first, and then front, take a pause. If you need to lift the weight off the ankles, great, come to here, give the ankles a little release. And just know that you can also do this shape in a standing kneel, okay, with the weight off the heels, if that feels a bit happier for your feet. Okay, left arm out to left side. So the palm turns back and the back of the hand comes behind you. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, just softening right ear down towards right shoulder. And we're not forcing anything, we're not pulling the head, we're just dropping it into gravity, maybe nodding the chin a little bit down and up And allowing those fibers on the left side of the neck to get a little bit of a lengthening. And then bringing the head back to neutral, place the right hand on the heart. And then really consciously breathe into both hands. Feel that expansion as the inhale comes in, and as the exhale leaves, feel a little contraction, like a softening. Take 2 more like that. Returning to center on your exhale, and flooding the body with oxygen on the inhale. And when you're ready, you can release the back hand first, and then the front hand, just placing the hands onto the knees. And then again, lifting the weight off the heels. If you're still there, you can give the ankles a little release by rolling. And then sweeping your feet out to one side, just sit back softly to the other side. And then come with your legs crossed in front of you. So we'll start here. Grounding through the base. It could be useful to have a little cushion nearby for your bottom if you feel like sitting upright is a little bit tricky. And we'll take the right leg out and extend it as the left heel comes in towards the inner groins. So give the right toes a little wiggle and just make sure the foot stays nice and awake as we move through this side bend. And we're breathing in, lifting the arms up. And then as you breathe out, let the right arm swoop across the body and just take it somewhere on the left side. So I like to have my hand on the ribs so that when I breathe in, I can feel the expansion of the ribs and then take a little lean towards that extended leg. So this could be a little, it could be a lot, just depending again on how much space you feel like you have in your hamstrings, how your shoulders are responding to this. So just remember, it's not about the depth you can achieve in a shape. It's more about really experiencing your body authentically and moving towards a place that feels joyful, nothing that feels too strong or too forced. Little pulse up and down here in the side bend. And then moving away from that, the left hand's going to come behind us. Leaning into that hand, the right arm lifts up. You can just stay here. Or perhaps you lift the hips, point the right toe away and reach back before softening back down through the pelvis. Beautiful. And then bring the right knee in. And then crossing the right leg over the left. So doing your best to maneuver yourself into a Gomukhasana or cow face shape with your legs. So typically this would be knees more or less stacked and the outer feet resting into the earth. But if that just feels really crazy to make it there, you can take a variation like this, or actually anything in between that feels comfortable for you. You might even just do cross-legged here. So taking a moment to get settled. If you haven't visited it before or for a while, it could feel quite clunky. So just do your best to meet that resistance with some slow, steady breaths. And you can rest your hands onto your feet and have a sense of where your spine is in space. So again, like at the beginning, we rock forwards and rock back. We want to see if the back of the head can be in line with the base of the spine. Where can we soften? And then when you're ready, bringing your arms out to the side and then wrapping the right arm under the left, revisiting this Garudasana shape with the arms. But again, if that feels a bit too strong, you can just take a hold of the backs of the shoulders and a nice hug. And it might be that you're just breathing into stillness here. Or maybe the body wants to move or sway. You might even tip forwards. And just take a little bit of a movement excursion to see how it changes sensation for you. Always moving very slowly, very mindfully. And then allowing the arms to unravel. Bring them out to a cactus shape, elbows more or less in line with the shoulders, and then send the hands back down to the ground. Rocking back a little bit to unravel the legs, and then bring the right heel in and take the left leg long. Give the left toes a little wiggle, sitting nice and tall through your spine. And again, if you're feeling like it's hard to sit upright in this shape, then definitely a bit of support underneath you will be helpful, sitting on the edge of a cushion perhaps. And then lifting the arms when you're ready, inhaling, reaching up through the fingertips. As you exhale, I'm going to be the left arm sweeping across the body, catching somewhere on the right side body. And then the right arm just easing into a side bend. So noticing the breath puffing into the right lung, the right ribs, softening the face, and trying to let go of a destination here and simply enjoy the journey. Coming away from that as you're ready, the right hand comes behind us. The left arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Definitely great to stay here, or perhaps taking weight into the backhand, lifting the hips, pointing the left toe away and really reaching back through your left hand, stretching the front of the left hip, and then softening back down. Bring the left leg in, cross it over the right, and do your best to find your way into your expression of this Gomukhasana shape. So this is definitely going to feel different one side to the other. So just witness, acknowledge which side is your slightly stiffer side, and just know that's completely normal. We all live in one side of our bodies. So if this is your stiffer side, perhaps staying for an extra few breaths, giving it more of a chance to open. Where is the spine in space? Am I leaning forwards into this? Can I bring the back of the head back slightly in line with the sacrum? Finding some slow, steady breaths. And then when you're ready, arms come out to the side. Left arm sweeps under right, eagle cross. And just following the body here. Some days it wants to be still, other days it prefers to move, to sway, to rock, to pulse. So notice what kind of day it is for you. And just respond accordingly. Just soft, gentle movements if you're moving. Maybe a little tip forwards if that feels okay. And then starting to unravel, bring the arms to that cactus shape, inhaling and exhaling. Hands float to the floor. Rocking back so you can unravel the legs. Take the feet as wide as your mat. I'm going to come back to here. Hands behind us. And then let your knees just soften down to the right and then to the left. And windscreen wiper your knees in this way a few more times just to reset the spine. And then the knees point up. Toes find the floor. Bring the hands towards the ankles and just guide the soles of the feet together here. So we're going to take a passive version of Baddha Konasana, which is a hip opener, but instead of bringing the heels right close into the inner groins, instead slide them away a little bit so you've got more of a diamond shape through your legs. And then we fold really passively, letting the back round as you tip forwards. Relaxing your head, the hands might slide down to your feet. And take some nice, easeful breaths here. And when you're ready to roll out slowly with a heavy head, heavy arms. Hands sliding up towards the knees. And then use your hands to just guide the knees together and just heel toe the feet roughly hip width apart. Making sure you've got some space behind you now to lie down. We're going to bring the arms forwards. And as you bring the arms through the legs forwards, roll onto the outer edges of your feet if you can, if that's available to you. Reach forwards. And then from there, gliding back. And then reaching forwards once again. And then gliding back, feet come to the floor. One more time, come onto the outer edges of your feet, reach forwards. And then like someone's drawing you back from behind your heart, starting to lie slowly down onto your back body, Take your time, use your hands if that feels more happy for you. As you find your way all the way onto your back, set your feet more or less underneath the knees so they can comfortably support the pelvis. And then bring the feet away from the floor and just hug the knees towards the armpit hollows and give yourself a little rock. Feeling the energy move downwards now towards the ground. And letting your left leg be long. Keep hugging the right knee in towards the armpit, using both hands now. Really relax through the left side of the leg. And then take the right hand to the outer right foot, maybe the ankle or shin. If you can reach the outer foot comfortably, then just draw the thigh bone down using your hand and come into half happy baby. You might rest the left hand on the frontal left hip point just to ground through the pelvis. And then slowly release. The right leg slides long, completely relax that leg, bring the left knee in and just hug it towards the left armpit there. Slow breath in, exhale, just relax the right leg passively as you draw the knee closer in. And then reaching your left hand either to the shin or the ankle or maybe the outer left foot and draw the thigh bone down, half happy baby. One more slow breath before releasing. Both knees come towards you one final time. Take another rock along the lower back, the sacrum, massaging it gently. And starting to think about coming all the way down to the ground for Savasana now. So extending the legs long. And as you extend the legs long and just relax the body into the earth, notice, is there anything else that you need to do to ensure you have the most restful Savasana? It might be some little micro adjustments. Maybe it's grabbing a jumper or a blanket. So do everything you need to be supported, to be comfortable, and then when you're ready to surrender the body down, take a long breath in through your nose and let it fully release through the mouth. As you let that breath go, feeling a total release of effort. And allowing the body to be supported by the weight of the earth pressing up into it. Letting go of any controlled breathing and simply allowing the breath to ebb and flow gently. And keep giving yourself permission to soften and release. In these moments, the world outside can wait. It's just you and your breath, the feeling of the ground beneath you. And it's when we come to stillness that we can allow the practice to integrate, to absorb, and maybe feel into the echoes of the practice, the tingling, the heat, the coolness. However your life force energy is manifesting, can you be there to witness it? Continue to keep dropping, letting go. And you can begin to land back in your senses if you've drifted elsewhere. Once again, sensing the feeling of the ground beneath you, opening up your skin to the feeling of the air around you. And just sensing your awareness rise back up to the surface of your body, maybe wiggling your fingers now and your toes. Perhaps rolling your head side to side. And letting the movements grow bigger as you're ready, hugging your knees towards you. Awakening slowly, rolling onto one side, taking a little pause before pressing yourself up and finding your way back to a comfy seat. Bring the hands together in front of the heart and take a moment to thank your wonderful, magical body allowing you to move in this way. Value your efforts. I thank you so much for practicing with me today. Namaste.